Here. All right. So, man, thanks for coming on. I mean, you've had a very solid season with Onpoint Motorsports. I mean, I know it was announced at the beginning that you'd run at least the majority of the races for the season. I thought that was really cool because you've been with the team for a good while now. I mean, how's that been?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on here. It's been a great time driving for On Point. They were kind of Stephen Lane, the crew chief there, is the one that gave me the opportunity in the truck series, and to continue the relationship that we have. And this is my third season there. Every year that I've ran there, it's been more and more races, and we're set up for this year to finish out the season. So, I think that'll end up being 19 races. It's been a lot of fun. We've had ups and downs and good runs and bad runs, but together we're learning each other, and just trying to make the best of the season.
Yeah. So, you had an Xfinity start this year as well. You got to run Daytona. I know. I don't know how much was that, like a really last minute deal that got thrown together for you.
Yeah, kind of. I had heard through the grapevines that Scott Borchetta was starting his Xfinity team and that they were looking for a driver. And Scott Borchetta sponsored my first truck race with Brantley Gilbert at Martinsville. So I reached out to him, and um, the news was true that Jade Buford wasn't qualified for Daytona, and we were able to put something together for Daytona. That was pretty cool. Just as a short track driver that kind of got a late start in the NASCAR Top Three Series. A few years back, it had been a dream just to be able to run at Daytona, and then this year I was able to go down there and run the Xfinity and the truck race all in one weekend. So that was definitely a huge career highlight for me. I wish we could have had better finishes, but I think I got in that last wreck there in the Xfinity race. And there was a green white checker. We ended up 19th, but I think I would have been probably top 10 in that. And then I got spun coming to the checker in the truck race and should have been top 10 in that. But, it's races like those just make you dig in and try harder.
Yeah. And this, as far as your like truck career, every year you've had at least what you've had one top 10 each year. And like this year you have one top 10 right now. So I imagine you're gunning for more to kind of break that streak, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I wish we would have had some more. We honestly should have. Like I said, Daytona, I spun across the grass there, finished 17th. The truck I kind of got into it with coming to the line, finished sixth. So that would have been one. Darlington a couple of months ago, I was six, or I think I was seventh or eighth there with five to go, and spun out by myself there with five to go. That would have been a top 10. But, to get the top 10 last weekend at Knoxville, just, it was definitely rewarding. The team needed it, I needed it, and you're right. You just keep trying, harder, and I think we'll be able to hopefully bust off a couple more this year. Martinsville's still on the schedule. I run really well there. We go back to Darlington. I ran well at St. Louis last year, so I think we can get a couple more this year.
Yeah, you run really well at Martinsville. I think both of your previous top tens were at Martinsville with the team, right?
Yeah, I finished eighth the first year and then seventh last year. So hopefully we can crack the top five this year. That's what we're hoping
Yeah,
for.
exactly. And so Knoxville was our most recent race. That's where you finished 10th. And, a lot of people got a lot, some pretty solid finishes there. But how, like, I know a lot of people had a lot of beat up trucks. I mean, how destroyed was your truck after that race?
Mine was pretty bad. I kind of kept it fairly clean till that last big wreck I got. I just touched the 22. I tore it up a little bit, and then when Strickler and the 22 got together, I got in that one, and I had a tire rub, and it was smoking. And I mean, thankfully we didn't really hit the tires, but the body was pretty tore, pretty
Yeah.
tore up. There was obviously some worse, but and some better. But I think every panel on the thing was bent. But suspension wise, I think everything was pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, how overall did the race go for you? I mean, did you have like previous dirt experience to rely on, or were you just out there winging it?
Yeah. So back in 2000, I moved here in 2008 to North Carolina. I started working for Ray Evernham in 2008. In 2009, I started racing dirt cars. I raced the IMCA type modifieds at East Lincoln Speedway, the track that Ray Evernham owned. I won the track championship there in 2009. I ran there and Carolina Speedway in 2010, 2011. So it's been a while since I've been on dirt, but I do have some past modified dirt experience, which I think, I'm probably not as sharp as I used to be, but I, did take some of the stuff that I learned back then and applied it to Knoxville. I think we had a pretty decent truck. I think if I could have restarted the inside line every time, I probably would have ran 10th to 15th anyway.
Yeah.
We cracked the top 20, and then I'd get on the outside on a restart and I'd drop 6 or 7 spots, and then I'd make those back up and then lose them again. And I mean, everybody could see that the inside line was where you needed to be. And for whatever reason, I think 8 out of 10 restarts, I was on the outside. So we just lose track position and then we'd miss a wreck, gain it back. It was definitely a yo-yo of a race.
Yeah. I know a lot of drivers were talking about saying like, oh, if you didn't move the guy in front of you, the guy behind you would move you. Is that kind of how it felt riding around on the inside?
Yeah, I mean, I got moved once up out of the bottom. I didn't keep up with the track enough. I think we kind of were a little tight there in the second and third stage. Stage one, we were pretty good, but the track was changing as it rubbered up, and we were just a little on the tight side. And got moved up once. I didn't really. I kind of stuck my nose in a couple times, like where I got it wrong. You didn't want to not give up, give up that spot to stay on the bottom type deal. So you kind of had to be a little bit aggressive that way. Um, but yeah, restarts were, it was just try to get to the bottom. And if you couldn't get to the bottom in a lap or two, you just get freight trained.
Yeah. Do you think it would be smart to maybe for them next year to implement like a choose rule or something like that?
Well, I think the choose rule would have been difficult because I think you probably only would have had 3 or 4 rows that were double file, I think. And
Yeah.
then I think everybody after that probably would have lined up on the inside. But, going forward, I don't think Knoxville is a bad track to have trucks at, but maybe if they had some support divisions there, because I mean, it was pretty equal in stage one when the track wasn't rubbered up.
Yeah.
You could kind of run the top and the bottom, but once the track started to rubber up on the bottom, you had to be on the bottom. But if they had another series that ran maybe previous of our race that would rubber up the top a little bit and give the top some grip, you might have 2 grooves. So it was a first for everybody, and I think that they'll be able to take some of what happened and implement it for next year if we go back.
And how would you compare it for, when you ran Bristol Dirt? How are the two tracks kind of different as far as like maybe you approached it as a driver?
Well, Bristol Dirt was just, it obviously it's a faster track. There's more banking, so you can drive in the corner a lot harder. You have the banking to catch you. I think from the racing standpoint, I think the dirt at Knoxville was a little bit better. I struggled personally a lot at Bristol with being able to see. It was pretty dusty there. Being in the dome, you had a lot of dust that didn't leave the racetrack type deal. And I mean, honestly, I ended up getting in that wreck with Kyle Larson. And I mean, I'm usually pretty good at missing wrecks, and I could not see him at all. And,
Yeah.
I think my spotter had the same issue there. So, even though the racing was kind of one groove at Knoxville, I think, the dirt experience part of it was a little bit better out at Knoxville.
Yeah. So as far as you and like points, I know me and I have a podcast to do with Tommy Joe Martins. We always talk about the Xfinity points and like the payout for stuff like that. So I wasn't sure what it was for trucks. I know you're 21st in the point standings. Was there like a top 20 payout for that?
I believe that the top 20 does get paid. I don't really know, to be honest, what it is. I think I definitely I didn't race Coda or the
Yeah.
Texas oval race, so I think if I would have, I'd be in the top 20. But we still have 8 races left, so that's a goal of mine to crack the top 20 and just have some solid finishes. We've had a lot of, I would put it as more bad luck than good luck this year. I think hopefully, with the top 10 at Knoxville, the luck has turned a little bit and we can, I I definitely want to crack the top 5 in one of these races. I'd like to, contend for wins, but we're, without practice and, smaller team, it's a tough division. So I
Yeah.
think we just keep trying to head in the right direction. We have a little bit of a break now so we can, be a little bit more prepared for some of the races coming up and, just take the positive momentum from Knoxville and, apply it to the next 8 races.
Yeah, you talk about no practice and qualifying. You head to Watkins Glen right at the beginning of August. I don't know if you have any practice experience on that racetrack or just road courses in general. I mean, you looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to it. I don't have any past experience at Watkins Glen. I bought a simulator that sits in my front room there, and I've been running a lot of laps there, just trying to figure out braking points, figure out the track itself, and
Yeah.
kind of memorize the corners. I we ran, you know, you don't get any practice, and my first road course would have been the Daytona road course, and I was feeling fairly confident about that. And then, we started that race in the rain, which I had no idea what to expect with that. And then, as it dried out, we put the dry tires on. We had a transmission issue, but I think driving wise, I think I would have been okay there. So hopefully, we just go up there. Obviously, I have a lot more experience in the truck now, and I'll just practice as much as I can on the simulator and try to memorize the track, and just hopefully come out of there with a solid day. I don't know if I'll set the world on fire, but just keep it in one piece, keep it on the racetrack, and just be competitive.
So out of the next like crop of tracks we have here, besides Martinsville, because I know you're really good at Martinsville. Besides Martinsville, what would you, if you had to pick one of these tracks, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, I think, like a St. Louis was something that fit my driving style pretty well. And I think last year I finished 16th there. I was inside the top 15 on the last restart last year. I kind of got shuffled back on a restart. So I feel like we can go run competitively there. I've been to Bristol multiple times with the modified and then ran the truck there last year. We were bottoming out pretty bad last year. And I think we had a good truck, but we started to bottom out there toward the middle of the race. But I think that's another track that would suit my type of driving style. So I'm looking forward to have a really good finish there. Martinsville, another one that fits my driving style. We should be able to run well there. Vegas is a mile and a half that's kind of came to me a little bit. I finished 17th earlier in the year there, so hopefully we can improve on that. And then, you always have Talladega, which I feel like anybody in the field can win. So, there is quite a few races coming up, and then even Darlington. Like at Darlington, I was running top 10 with 5 to go. Yeah, they had a pretty big wreck there that I missed, a couple months ago, but I think I drove into the top 15 in the first stage of that race too. So I'm actually really looking forward to a majority of the last 8 races because it's all tracks that are tracks that I've been to, except for Watkins Glen, and tracks that I've actually ran fairly well at. So, hopefully we can break the streak of one top 10 a year and crack
Yeah.
a few more this year. Hopefully a top 5 or top 3, or like I said, you go to Talladega and anybody can win that. So
Exactly. So, as far as like shorter term goals, I know, everyone has dreams in NASCAR and racing and stuff like that. So, imagine maybe in the next few years, like your goal is to be competing maybe full time in the series, competing for points, playoffs, stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, I just my deal is a little bit different than a lot of the people that I race against, and I was always the type of guy that had big dreams, but also reality is reality, and I still get up every day. I go to work. I'm at work right now. Um, I work full days. I work full time, and then when I go home in the evenings, I work on my race car. I work on other race cars that I drive. I have a lot of help from my friends, my family, my dad especially, who works on my car a lot. He's works on my car all day while I'm at work. Um, so I'm always working at it in different aspects, whether it's sponsor stuff, um, at the track itself, working on other cars that I drive. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely at times, the dream was just heck, if I could start one race in the top 3 series, that'd be a huge accomplishment for me. Just coming from where I come from, and I was able to do that, and then that turned into 3 races that year, and then heck, I think I've run 25 truck races now. I was able to make an Xfinity start, so I have great support from my sponsors, North American Motor Car, and we're just everything keeps building to pick where I want to be. Obviously, I'd like to be able to run in the Cup Series full time and be in competitive team there. I've got a late start, but I'm just going to continue to work as hard as I can. Keep my name out there, capitalize on races that I can capitalize on, have good finishes. I guess wherever I land, I land. Obviously, it would be a dream come true if I could land a full time, truck team ride or Xfinity ride or Cup ride, and do it. Wake up every day and just worry about racing and concentrate on that. But definitely really appreciative of my boss Ray Evernham for allowing me to do the racing stuff. It's not, I do have to miss some work to do it, and I do have to miss some time at work to do stuff. So it's been a really it's taken a lot of people and a lot of people's help to get me to the point I'm at. And I just, like I said, just keep trying to do as much as I can and race as much as I can, and have good finishes.
Yeah, has that ever been a thought, as far as the team that you're at right now with Onpoint Motorsports, and even just North American Motor Car and all they do for racing and stuff like that, to kind of field you at full time deals? That ever been passed along?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. Yeah, I think North American Motor Cars still kind of still building their brand. Their facility will be open at the end of this year, and it was kind of one of them things just to see how it went type thing. And we did some last year. We were gonna do. The plan was to do the first 10 and kind of see where we're at, and then everything's went really well, so we're on board for the rest of the season. And I think we'll definitely have to have some talks here in the next couple months and kind of see where everybody's at, see what everybody's plans are. And like I said, I'm extremely grateful of Onpoint Motorsports for everything that they have done. I think for a small team that they do a great job. And um, I like I said, I don't know exactly what anybody's plans are for next year, but I think everybody's happy with the way everything's going. And we'll just kind of see where everyone's at and get a plan together.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it. Rest of the season. I think how many races or so we got? Well, we got, I think,
Should be 8, I think.
three, yeah, 8 left. One until the playoffs officially. So, do you got any racing plans during this break?
Well, so I've been a lot of my successes came from the asphalt modified stuff, and I've been running my modified at Bowman Gray Stadium. You may have seen the video a couple weeks ago. I jumped out of I jumped the fence, but we were leading the points over there up until 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I've been running that every week. I did the double Pocono weekend. I raced Pocono in the truck, flew back, raced Bowman Gray Saturday night. That was the week I flew out of the track.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'll run over there this Saturday, pretty much every Saturday till the middle of August is when their season ends. And then I started driving another modified owned by Buddy Ellis on the Smart Modified Tour, which is tours around down here. So I think our next race in that would be Dillon Motor Speedway, August 28th. And then, like I said, the full truck schedule. So, like I said, I grew up in the modified stuff. It's obviously a lot different than the truck series, but I think anytime that you're in a race car, you know, you're learning. So I think
Yeah.
it's important for me to keep, my name out there, and to stay in the seat and drive anything I can drive. And, I think I've come a long way from where I thought I would be a couple years ago. And there's been, like I said, a lot of people that's helped me achieve these goals, and got me to this point. And just extremely grateful for the opportunities I have. And I wish I knew where I'd land and where I'd end up, but I just keep working hard at it. And time will tell. I think everything happens for a reason. And I think everything will work out in the end.
Yeah. Exactly. And there's been so many shakeups for next year already, so you never really know where everybody's gonna
Yeah,
land. But
exactly.
always something that happens. Hey man, well, glad to be able to talk to you today and have you on here. And great, best of luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully, we can do something maybe when the season ends.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you for your time, and we'll keep in touch.
Awesome. See you, man.